So hello and welcome back to Go Again Gaming. My name is Az and we are in the last match of round one. This is the match that's going to be Maxx Nitro versus Olympia, and we got a little bit of stakes here on the line today. This match is sponsored by My Metal Cards, one of the overall sponsors of the League That Means Nothing Season 3, but this match in particular is going to have a $30 coupon attached to it, so the winner of this game will get $30 to spend on the web store to get any of the tokens, get money off the tokens, and receive the League That Means Nothing special new token as well that you get. I might flash up an image here as well. And of course, if you use the code Let's Play TLTMN, Let's Play the League That Means Nothing, on their web store, you can get one of those tokens as well as a reminder or a commemorative item of this league, whether you're a spectator or a player. So make sure you go and check it out. But yeah, this should be an interesting game. Maxx versus Olympia. Not something you see very often. But before we go into it, let's hear a message from one of our other sponsors as well. The League That Means Nothing Season 3 is brought to you in part by Enter the Battlefield Gaming out of Ontario, Canada. They do all of our favourite games, including this one, Flesh and Blood. They do sealed, singles, and events. But they also do things like Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lorcana, One Piece, Sorcery, Warhammer, tabletop games, and all sorts of different supplies for your table. Make sure you go and check them out if you're local to Canada, or check out their website at enterthebattlefield.ca. Let's get on with the tournament. So here we go. Dave is opting to go first in this very bizarre matchup that I probably have never watched before, and likely it is, you probably never would have seen it either. The League That Means Nothing is full of surprises, and we get to see all manner of different heroes line up to face each other in this arena, which is cool. I mean, a lot of the players do want to get involved for that reason. You know, the League That Means Nothing meta is very, very varied, and people were actively trying to bring heroes that were not represented when the league was incepted. So players like Dave, happy to play Maxx in this league because there was no Maxx at the time. Players like John, happy to play Olympia because there was no Olympias at the time. And you can see the love for these heroes. Look at that Olympia setup that John's got there. Look at that artist proof, the mat, everything involved. He's even got Oldhim sleeves, which scares me a little bit because we are seeing the Decimator Great Axe being run by Olympia, but things are being kicked off now with Dave with a dive through data. And a little flash up here. Dave forgot to boost, but that's caught in a second. So don't worry about that. That is coming. So dive through data is going to come in for 4 with Go Again, being blocked by a Warmonger's Diplomacy, which is going to leak the 1, which means that Dave could opt if he wants to. So yeah, it's going to hit. And he chose not to opt, which is interesting. So he missed that completely. And I didn't even catch that in post-production, but there we go. T-Bone coming in for 3 with Go Again. Obviously, the boost off of the last attack was caught there, but the opt wasn't. But we are seeing a full block here with the boots and a blue felling swing. So it looks like this Olympia is going to be just swinging large axe attacks. And at this point, you probably would have seen the other Olympia in the league, Josh Lau, piloting more of a aggro-y-esque Olympia, because the axe sort of seems to me that it wants to be more fatiguey. And we've seen in the first League That Means Nothing, Smithel ran a Decimator Great Axe Olympia, and it was very, very grindy. So we could expect the same sort of thing here from John. But we are just going to see an Iron Song Versus to get a Courage, and a CNC coming in, pitching the Emboldened Blade there. So we do have 1 floating, but I'm not sure if there's anything that we can use on a CNC with 1 floating at reaction speed. So this is probably just going to be a vanilla CNC, threatening the arsenal of Maxx. And he's just going to be blocking with 2 cards. Looks like a 0 to 60 and something else. That's going to go away. And John's just going to be happy to arsenal and pass in these first opening exchanges. And the Oldhim sleeves also suggest to me that it's going to be a fatiguey game. You know, this is Olympia dressed up as a Guardian, basically. Decimator really gives you that that extra maths over time, which can really, you know, discourage people blocking, which is good for trying to achieve the wages as well. So we are going to see Dave put a counter on Technoplasma Pistol and play out a Hyperdriver. This is the actual Hyperdriver. not just a token, the actual card. And that's it, we're just going to pass. So a little bit of setup here. We're going to see John play a Sharpened Steel, which is the next weapon attack, gets +3, a very, very cool card. A lot of warriors like this, some upfront, televised, I'm going to swing harder. Even harder, my god, a felling swing coming in, so the next axe attack's going to get fucking +9 damage here. Sorry for the swearing, but there we go. This is ours, I'm very unhinged. This is coming in for 11. 13, sorry. Wow. Okay. 13 damage on the axe. Got one card left as well, which is always good. Being able to swing for 13 and still remain an arsenal. It still remains to have an arsenal is very, very good. Can't get my words out today. It's very early in the morning. But yeah, Dave really contemplating how to block this. And obviously, Decimated Great Axe is a little bit more trickier to block because you can half the base defense of target defending card rounded up when you attack with it. When the blockers are declared, you can half something, which is pretty good. And this is what John's doing now. He's just explaining that interaction to Dave. Decimated Great Axe, not something you see a lot of. Axes, not something you see a lot of. Maybe hatchets, but not Decimator Axe, I don't think. It's not really a common thing to see. But yeah, we are going to be blocking here with some of the equipments and a card from hand. And then John is going to be able to half the defense of one of those cards. The first time this is defended by a non-equipment card each turn, half the base power of target defending card rounded up. So if you're blocking with equipment and a non-equipment card, you can still choose the equipment card if you want to. But it looks like John's just going to be targeting the card here for the damage. Yeah, and that's going to be going through 8 going through there. So that's a pretty nasty swing on the axe. That's pretty good. Nice to see a big, huge axe swing. Dave is just going to start his turn now. We can see a couple of the cards in the hand there. Got a T-bone on 0 to 60. So 0 to 60 is going to be coming in, boosting a gas up, I believe, in the arsenal. So that's coming in for 4. With Go Again, obviously the hyperdrivers in play are going to tick down as well, so that's going to give him 2 resources on the back end. And this is something that is quite scary about Maxx, is that there's so much gas. As soon as you start gassing out like this and getting those hyperdrivers to boost and give you extra resources, you're just basically getting free resources if you've established a board like this. And it's pretty scary to try and deal with. Quite bursty, but also working towards that construct Nitro Mechanoid game plan as well. So pretty good stuff. And we can see that construct Nitro Mechanoid in the arsenal there. He's given us a little glimpse of that. We are going to see a T-bone boosted as well. That's coming in for 3 with Go Again. Those poor refraction bolters are just getting absolutely abused here. John just deciding whether he wants to block with an additional card from hand or just take 3 in this instance. And we've seen one huge swing from John on the axe so far. So it's going to be interesting to see what offensive options John is going to be offering here to Dave as he just comes in gassy, fast and furious, banishing a hyperdriver. And that's going to go straight under the X3. Whenever you banish a hyperdriver, the X3 is going to eat that up instead, which is pretty good. That'll allow you to draw some cards if you continue banishing hyperdrivers. It's a nice little item there, which sort of fits into this strategy. But the Fast and Furious is coming in now. I'm just going to take that damage. There we go. And now we're going to see a Maxx activation. So he's going to put another hyperdriver into the battlefield with 2 steam counters on it. Could see a potential crank as well. No. But great thing about Maxx is all hyperdrivers you control have crank. So that opens up a load of different lines. John is just going to respond with a merciless, not a merciless battle axe. That's the awful axe, isn't it? That one. This is Decimated Great Axe coming in for 4 yet again. Just happy to pitch a blue here. It's a Heart of Fire. They're both at equal life, so obviously he's not going to get the life gain on that, unfortunately. Oh, but we are responding with an up the ante. I'm assuming Dave chose no blocks here. X is going to be 3. So that's going to push it up to 7 damage. Wagering all 3 tokens. If he wins the wager, he's going to get an additional gold from Olympia's effect. And that's going to be coming in for 7. Yep, that's pretty good. And yep, we're just going to see the damage be taken by Dave here. Olympia's effect is going to get another token for gold. And now we're going to have a agility and a vigor going into next turn as well, which is always good. Giving agility. Agilities are just so strong. Giving any attack go again is just insane. We're going to see another Fast and Furious coming out, boosting. All the hyperdrivers tick down by 1, so that's going to get 3 resources on the back end, which is absolutely insane. When you establish these types of hyperdriver boards, you can really just play things for nothing because you're getting so many resources off of it. But we're going to see a block with an edge ahead here for 3. Edge ahead blue, extended art, nice. We're going to crack the Cogworks base legs to get another action point here, which is pretty good. Should be using a resource for that though, Dave. Resources has not ticked down there. Once per turn instant, pay 1. So that was done for free by the looks of it. And now we're going to activate Maxx. Bringing those resources down to 1, so there shouldn't be any resources there now, unfortunately, because he missed the Cogworks base legs. But we are going to crank the hyperdriver coming into play. Luckily, this league means nothing, eh? Otherwise, there'll be judge calls all over the place. And now we are going to construct the Nitro Mechanoid, and that is pretty much it. The resource floating there helped Dave get that, which he shouldn't have had, unless I've missed something. But yeah, I've only just noticed that now. But hey-ho, these things happen. The Nitro Mechanoid is out very, very quickly, and all of the items are going to be going underneath it, and it's going to be able to banish cards from underneath it to attack for 5 with overpower. But because of the galvanic bender as well, we are going to see it come in for 6 each time until that piece of equipment is banished. But that one is banished. Most likely, the last banish that you do is the +1. So yeah, all of the attacks basically come in for 6 with overpower, which is just insane. Especially if you can generate multiple action points with Maxx, you can come in with 6 overpower multiple times, and that's exactly what we've done here because we cranked earlier. And the Nitro Mechanoid card itself does have go again, so he is 1 action point up here by the looks of it. Quote me if I'm wrong, but yeah, we're going to see here Galvanic Bender now come in for the Nitro Mechanoid, coming in for 6. Essentially has go again because of the action points, going down to 1. And Nitro Mechanoid is just a ridiculous card. Obviously, yeah, it can attack multiple times if you've got multiple action points, but where I was going with that is that it's just a ridiculous chain ender as well. A 0 cost 6 on the end of a huge chain. Mech loves to go wide, and obviously Maxx loves to have resources, so it's going to be hard for Olympia to try and keep up with this gas now. Now that the Nitro Mechanoid is established, not only does John have to worry about the Nitro Mechanoid being able to block, being able to attack, he has to worry about the whole other part of the game, which is Max's deck. All the other cards that Maxx is able to play around the Nitro Mechanoid. So we are just seeing a few blocks here. That all you got blocking the attacks and just taking some damage here. But Dave, happy to Arsenal a card now with the Nitro Mechanoid out. He has a lot of options. He can still do boost shenanigans. He can still go wide and then finish with the Nitro Mechanoid. It's an evasive attack as well, which obviously contributes to the end game. It's got overpower. It's harder to block. So yeah, just a great card in general. But we are going to see the previous tokens that Olympia got from the up the ante crack here. So the decimated, I keep saying merciless. The decimated great axe is coming in for 4 with go again on this because of the agility. Olympia is so strong that you can wield a decimated great axe and attack again afterwards. Insane. Okay, we are seeing a glint which is not the best reaction to see when you've already got go again, but we're still going to be able to draw a card off of the effect here because of the card blocked from hand, and obviously the spare resource is just going to go into the grains of blood spill after spilling a little bit of damage on the axe because of the effect which halves the base defense. And we've just seen a glimpse of the Maxx V in Dave's arsenal. So is that arsenal going to stay there forever now until we can achieve it? That could be the end game that we want here, especially in this grindy matchup. Dive through data being coming in for 4 with go again. Now the first dive through data that was played, Dave forgot to use the opt ability, and it looks like we are going to be taking one, and Dave's forgetting to opt each time the dive through data's hit. Interesting. That could be pretty pivotal, especially if you want to banish stuff that cares about hyperdrivers, and when hyperdrivers get banished, I think it's crankshaft. You want to be searching for those crankshafts and stuff to be able to sort of get some value, but obviously we don't have any hyperdrivers established yet, so... But it's still good to opt, Dave. Make sure you opt next time on dive through datas, because this Olympia has not blocked of any of them. And now we're seeing the Nitro Mechanoid come in for what looks like a chain ender here for 6, which is just insane. So, again, John happy to just throw a 3 block in front of that, take some more damage, and just try and weather this storm. And the thing is with Olympia, Olympia does have some very, very good anti-fatigue, not anti-fatigue, but good fatigue options with the specialization, the Visit the Goldmain Estate. So John can really, really take advantage of his equipment here, trying to outgrind and outlast the Nitro Mechanoid and its steam-powered machinations with just good old-fashioned armor. If he can visit the Goldmain Estate and rebuy all of his equipment slots, he might be able to sort of out-fatigue this Nitro Mechanoid, which is running on gas and gas only. And gas is an expendable resource. So we are seeing the Decimator come in for 7 with obviously a wager behind it here. Waging a Vigor from the edge ahead. We are seeing a Maxx V being blocked with, and the Construct Nitro Mechanoid blocking for 5 here. So we are going to see 1 damage leak through, because he can halve one of those cards. So we are going to see 1 damage leak through here. Yep. And so he's going to get that Vigor. He's going to get that gold as well because of Olympia's effect. So all this gold that's stacking up does allow you to sort of aim towards that Visit the Goldmain Estate game plan, where you just want to grind out your opponent, block as much as you can, save those golds that you're getting from the wagers to then visit the Goldmain Estate, which will allow you to re-equip loads of equipment that you've used. We are seeing the boost on the dive through data. So the dive through data again coming in for 4 with go again. Is Dave going to remember the opt on hit? We don't know. But this is all part of the league that means nothing. You know, different players, different abilities, different skill levels, trying different decks. It's all a learning curve. Flesh and Blood is a very, very high strategy, high stakes, not in this league, but high learning curve game. And this is the best way to learn it, to watch it and sort of relive it as such. And we are seeing a T-Bone come in, and that poor Refraction Bolters is getting absolutely battered by multiple T-Bones here. And we are seeing a Maxx activation. I'm going to get one of those hyperdrivers out because we have boosted this turn. That's going to be cranked to get an action point back. So that's pretty good. It's going to come in with 1 less steam counter. And we are going to see a big Nitro Mechanoid attack coming in for 6 on the end of this chain yet again. John committing the prize Galea and an up the ante. So that's going to be leaking 1 damage. Yep. That's a good thing about Warriors. While they do have their equipment to lean on, but Olympia has it even more so because he can visit the Goldmain Estate. So hopefully we can see that materialise here in Olympia's favour, because at the moment we're going to be holding them and swinging in with a Japanese visit the Goldmain Estate by the looks of it. That's pretty cool. And again, coming in for 7, wagering a Vigor here. So we're in that stage of the game now where Olympia is just trying to grind out some attacks, get some additional resources, win wages so he can fuel his Olympia ability to get gold, and obviously that contributes towards the end game that he's trying to potentially work towards in this game now, is getting as much value out of that equipment as possible and trying to outlast the steam-powered Mechanoid. That is the story that's going on here right now. And Dave is in the tank right now, trying to figure out how to deal with this 7-power axe attack, and it looks like he's just going to take it. And if that Max V is still in the arsenal, which I think it is, it's been established for a while, that is what Dave is working towards now. The anti-fatigue option is to just throw a 10 attack after going extremely wide. And taking the damage here, Olympia's getting the Vigour and the gold. But this could be a scary turn from Dave, keeping a full card hand, boosting away that T-Bone, and playing a T-Bone, obviously, coming in for 3 with Go Again. Blocking with a Truce. Another interesting card from Rosetta. And obviously that Poor Refraction Bolt is getting chucked in there as well. -3. Wow, that's down to the bone, that piece of legs. Obviously the Hyperdrive is going to crack as well. We are going to see a crankshaft be played. Going to boost away a throttle, and that's coming in for 4 with Go Again. Those crankshafts are really, really cool to see banished when you've got a load of board state out, because they can put a bloody steam counter on a hyperdrive you control, which just carries on and on and on from turn to turn. It really gives you some gas as the game goes on. And that's the one thing that Olympia does have to contend with now, is the gas that's going to be accrued from all of these things. And we are just going to see a clean block on the Fateful scene, with John opting a card, leaving it on top. At least John's remembering his opt, eh? And we are going to see another crankshaft boosting away a Big Bertha. That's coming in for 4 as well again. Pitching away a Teklo Pounder for that one. Coming in for 4 with Go Again. John still has a little bit of a life lead here. Dave decided to take the 7 last turn, and now John's taking the 2. Going down to 15, and now we're going to see the Grains of Blood Spill blocking the Nitro Mechanoid. Any other blocks here? Are that all you got? Okay, so that's going to be covering up 5 and taking 1. Yeah, so no trigger on that, all you got, unfortunately. And that's that. I think John weathered that storm pretty well. He's only got 1 card left, though. That's the problem. He's not going to be able to offer up an offense on the crackback here, unless the Vigour is going to mean something. The Vigour is going to give him 1 resource. Maybe you can fuel the axe with that. Looks like we're going to be able to at least swing the axe for 4, which is what warriors want to be doing. They want to be swinging their weapons. It's a constant threat, isn't it? It's a constant thing on board that can provide damage. And Dave happy to block with the suit of armour here. And that's going to be going down in defensive value. Obviously it's temper, so he's blocked of it once, so it's going to go down to -2. So now it only blocks for 3 on the equipment. Excuse me. And that's it. We're going to pass over to Dave again now. This is a pretty interesting game. Dave just having a look through the banished zone right now to just ascertain what is in there. It's not a shadow mech, so he can't play out of his banished zone, I don't believe. Maybe just assessing what's left in the deck, perhaps. Oh, okay. Maybe not then. We're going to play a gas up. Okay, interesting. The next attack you boost gets +3, and you may put a hyperdrive from your banished zone into the arena. Wow, okay. Recursion from the banished zone. Wow, okay. Dave is a shadow mech, after all. And just says, play another one. Right, okay. Wow. All right, this is some late game spice here. Gas ups, bringing back hyperdrivers to continue gassing up your game plan towards the end, but also
potentially offering a huge attack now as well, but we have just seen a glimpse of a Cerebellum processor in hand, so it doesn't look like this is going to be an attacking hand, just a setup. A really interesting setup here, cranking that Cerebellum processor to gain an action point back, which means he can swing with the Nitro Mechanoid. What an interesting turn. Unfortunately, not getting the value off of the gas ups, but the gas ups did allow Dave to bring back 2 hyperdrivers into the arena, which is just going to help his game plan in the sense that he wants to boost and go as wide as possible to try and leak as much damage as possible on John here. So John choosing to block with a Felling Swing and a 9-song Versus, which is going to block for 5, which means he's going to take the 1 damage. But that is an interesting play there from Dave. And we are going to see John respond with an edge ahead, pitching a standing order, interesting card, and then come in, pitching a glint to come in for 7 yet again, with the Decimated Great Axe wagering that agility token as well, coming in for 7. Now the agilities haven't really done too much. They gave the axe go again last time, but I don't think that was really followed up by anything, if I remember correctly. But we are going to see a block for 3 on the armor. It's going to leak some more damage there. Cerebellum is going to tick down as Dave enters the turn. So it's only got 1 chance to use that Cerebellum, but that Cerebellum just acted as a action point generator there in the last turn, which is pretty cool. Coming in with a zipper hit. That's going to tick down the... boosting a crankshaft. Okay, so that's cool. So he gets to boost the attack. Obviously, the hyperdrivers tick down, but obviously one of them ticks up from boosting a crankshaft. So this is the awesome synergy here, is that obviously you get some resources back from the hyperdrivers, but the crankshaft from the boost actually puts one back on. So yeah, we're just seeing a lot of synergies now in this late game for all of this gassing up that Dave is doing while in this suit of armor. And John just happy to block here, try and conserve life, try and weather the storm. The Maxx V is still in the arsenal as well, as we've just seen there. Not sure if John is catching this, but there we go. Throttle is coming in for 6 with Go Again, boosting away a gas up. And that's going to be coming in for 6 with Go Again. We are going to be blocking with a CNC. Dave looking again at his max velocity established in arsenal there. And we are going to see a Pulse Wave Harpoon after John takes 3 from the block on the throttle. Boosting away another crankshaft, which is going to put another steam counter on a hyperdriver. So really just boosting away and getting so much gas from all these hyperdrivers. And this is a 4 Pulse Wave Harpoon, forcing the Hold'em out of hand to block for 3 and take 1. And now Maxx is starting to establish the pace here as he stripped the entirety of John's hand, which is not going to allow him to crack back. Nitro Mechanoid comes in, does some even more damage here. All the equipment is now gone. And we are just going to see an Arsenal and pass from John. And this is the situation that now John finds himself in. Is he going to have to keep blocking now and just hope that the maths goes his way? Hopefully he can find a gold main estate to capitalise on that, because all of his armour is pretty much gone. He's got 5 gold out there, so he just needs to try and find that gold main estate to just get him through these last turns that Dave's going to be throwing at him with the Nitro Mechanoid and the steam counters coming off and the 4-card, 5-card hands. We are going to see another gas up. Just going to put a hyperdriver from your banished zone into the arena, which he can, of course, crank as well if he wants to. So these gas ups are really, really cool in this sort of late game here, just allowing you to put more more hyperdrivers into the battlefield, crank them to gain action points back. So he should be on, what, 2 action points now because of the gas up, giving go again. So yeah, should be on 2. And he might be able to boost an attack here with the +4 on it. He didn't manage to boost an attack last turn or last time with the gas ups, so he lost the value on that. But hopefully this time we are going to see a buffed attack, and we are going to see a big Bertha come in, banishing another big Bertha, so he gets to put a steam counter on a hyperdriver he controls, which is the one he just brought in from the gas up, which is pretty insane. And now obviously all the stuff ticks down because he's boosted a card, and he gets 3 resources off the back end, going up to 4 resources, I believe. That's insane. So much gas that Olympia just has to try and weather. And at this point, I'm not sure if Olympia's going to be able to do it. So much gas coming in here. 8 go again for this big Bertha. And we know what that means. That's a Nitro Mechanoid after this. Still. John blocking for 6 and taking 2. The damage is starting to leak. It's hard to stem the bleeding here as we come in again with the Nitro Mechanoid because of the second action point. He's still got an action point after this as well because obviously the... Oh, no. Yeah, he's still got an action point after this left as well, right? But I don't think there's any more cards in hand anyway to do even more stuff here. But Sink Below is going to be blocking up 4 of that, taking 2, going to 2. And the life gap now is evident. John's got 1 card left in hand. It's just going to be an Arsenal and pass. And John just impossibly trying to keep up with the gas that Maxx is throwing out. And Maxx is just doing Maxx things right now and just waiting for the opportune moment to throw the Maxx V in as well. That's been established in that Arsenal for a long, long time. We are going to see a zipper hit banished. Sorry, played. And then obviously as a result, we're going to see all of the hyperdrivers tick down, boosting a crankshaft so the steam counter goes back on of one of those hyperdrivers. Just some really sick synergy towards the end of the game here, going up to 5 floating. Wow. Where's the YouTube channel for that? 5 floating. Where's that? Coming in for 5 with Go Again here. Insane. Having to block 2 cards. Blocking for 6. Coming in with yet again another... Oh, sorry, this is an outpace. I thought it was another gas up. I was going to say, this is coming in for 4 with Go Again. Blocking for 3. Taking 1. Going down to 1. Dave just trying to get something out of his resources here. He's just got so many of them. You can just play basically everything for free right now. John blocking 4-3, and then there is the Maxx V to close it out. There's a Sink Below established in the Arsenal, but wow, that game, Olympia was truly outpaced towards the end there. Just not offering up as much damage as Maxx, and not finding the gold main estates either to try and get extra value out of that armor, which was all destroyed by the excessive boning from the T-Bones as well there. What a game. What a fantastic game. Congrats to both players. That was a joy to watch, and congratulations to Dave, who won the $30 off coupon from My Metal Cards. But thank you very much for watching. That is the end. Excuse me. That is the end of round 1s here of the League That Means Nothing. I've been asked to wrap up this round for you. Ian is still away at the moment, but he'll be back for round 2. And yeah, it's been great so far. Thanks to all the players that have participated. Thanks to everybody who's watched, who's commented. I know this is a league that means nothing, so there's no stakes here. There's a couple of mistakes as well on camera sometimes that aren't. There's no judges. There's nothing to rectify that, so we have to sort of try and catch it in post-production. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do. Sometimes I flash up the images there for you, but there's no stakes. This league means nothing. It's all a learning curve. It's all for fun. It's all for entertainment purposes. I hope you like it. But until next time, where we do it all over again here on the channel for round 2, we'll see you very, very soon. Cheers, folks. Goodbye.